What's up, Burly Nation? Welcome back to another commentary video. This time we're not playing Better Than Adventure. Instead, we're playing Toontown Rewritten. I didn't want to have to deal with just zoning out for 5 minutes without saying anything while I work on, like, fixing my inventory or something. And Toontown's a lot more chill of a game, so we're gonna be playing this today. Now, today's subject matter is CallMeCarson, the famous, I guess he's a Minecraft YouTuber. He's a Twitch streamer too. He's a very controversial one. Back in 2021, he had some accusations came out against him, as all great Minecraft YouTubers do. Now, 2 years ago, I covered CallMeCarson's entire career in like an hour-long video on my main channel. I went over his rise to fame, how he became so popular, why he was so popular. I explained like the validity behind the accusations, go over some things that people seem to neglect about the situation and make CallMeCarson look pretty bad. And overall, it was just a very in-depth analysis of Carson's career up until that point. Now, since I made that video, which you should go watch first if you haven't yet, although it is an hour long, so I understand if you can't. But since I made that video, 2 years have gone by. And in that time span, it feels like nothing has happened, and a lot of things have happened. Because what kinda happened when CallMeCarson returned is that because he had scared off every single other creator he knew from wanting to collab with him, he has to just find completely new and no-name peoples who are probably like his IRL friends. And since then, he has only collabed with those people. Actually, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. But he is back. He's been regularly uploading on YouTube and streaming on Twitch for the past 2 years. None of the people he worked with in the past have been in these videos. In fact, with the exception of Nextaku and Solid JJ, I don't think he does any collaborations at all anymore. Which, if you're familiar with CallMeCarson, that's like a pretty big far cry from where he was. His views on Twitch and YouTube are down from his peak, but that's kind of to be expected. And compared to a lot of other people who are on SMP Live, Carson is actually still doing very well for himself. He'll still get like 500 to 800,000 views on his main channel videos, and a couple 100,000, give or take, on his second channel videos. So he's still very successful. He just is no longer the like career defining, genre defining person he used to be. Dream kinda swept in once CallMeCarson started going down, and he took that role. However, a lot of questions have been raised about if CallMeCarson can ever like fully come back, if his friends will ever forgive him for all the stuff that went down, if Carson will ever be able to become the big YouTuber he once was, and also if Carson deserved to fall off as much as he did. Because a lot of people, I'd say honestly 99% of people do not actually understand the real reasons why CallMeCarson was cancelled. Since I'm like the YouTube lore expert on this, I made an hour-long video. I have to be the lore master. So, to answer the question, did Carson deserve to fall off as hard as he did? The short answer is probably. So what most people probably think of when they think of CallMeCarson and the accusations is just the 1719 thing. There was that one girl who came out who was a fan of Carson, who she claimed to be, but it's pretty obvious she was in a sexual relationship with Carson. But a lot of people don't think it's that bad because the age gap is so small. And I agree. But that one, like, accusation, if you can call it that, is only like 10% of everything that Carson was accused of doing. I go way more into detail on this on my main channel video, so I won't talk too much of it here. But too long didn't read is that there are 4 other girls Carson was accused of being in a relationship with, all of whom were underage. So I mean, 1917, that's just like one thing. But if there's 4 more and they're all underage, that's like a pattern of behavior. Carson also completely lied about the Caterino drama, if you remember that. They were apparently never in a relationship. Caterino never cheated on Carson because she like was never even with them. Like Carson just completely ruined her image based on a delusion he made up. Those were the 2 big ones. There's some other minor things, like he was just completely a jerk to work with behind the scenes. A lot of people have come out and said that. So I think it's wrong to say that Carson deserved to fall off because he's a pedophile who dates 17-year-olds, because we only have one confirmed case of the 19 and 17 thing, which I don't even care about that much. But he was allegedly doing this with more girls. And he was also allegedly just a jerk behind the scenes and he didn't hate all of his friends, but a lot of his friends disliked him and thought he was just annoying. So when you look at like the long-term effects of this, what's like the only difference between Carson's content then and Carson's content now? And the difference is that a lot of his friends just no longer appear in his videos. So, did Carson deserve to lose his friendships? If Carson's friends think so, then like who are we to say otherwise? I mean, none of us are personally affected by CallMeCarson's actions. That's obvious. And Carson's friends were, so they stopped hanging out with him. And it's as simple as that. Now, I've already touched on this a bit in the video, including what I just talked about. To answer the question of like why Carson is struggling to be as popular as he once was, the main reason is that a lot of what made Carson's content really good was that he would collab with literally anybody. A lot of people just think, oh, it was J-Slat and C-Scoop and Slimesicle who carried his content. But if you look at his videos, CallMeCarson was almost like the DJ Khaled or Travis Scott of YouTube, where he'd just like take the wildest people you never think would be in one of his videos would be in his videos. Carson's last video he made before the big controversy was an Among Us video with like Pokimane, Valkyrie, Corpse Husbands, like Huno, like all the biggest Twitch streamers at the time that were all PG, family friendly, clean. And here Carson is, who's kind of, you know, he's not as edgy or offensive as like Leafy is here, but he's kind of like that, and he's making content with them. He did collabs with old Minecraft YouTubers. He did collabs with like Eddie Burback. Wackety would just be in his videos sometimes. Pyro would be too mad. The guys who make up the group chat now, they were good friends, not like good friends, but they were on good terms with Carson at the time of the allegations going down. And obviously Josh, Altrive, C-Scoop, Hugbucks, Mason. Oh, and the Misfits too. Like it just keeps going and going. Carson's like the most, despite everything we know now about him behind the scenes, about how he was supposedly like a jerk and really hard to work with, he was like very ingrained in the community. And a lot of people depended on him for like content. And a lot of other people wanted to use him to network to get with other creators. Like you think of Trickle Sandwich with J-Slat, Slimesicle, and Sednivison. Those three people would have never in a million years collabed with each other if Carson didn't all get them into the same room. Slimesicle was like a Smash Bros YouTuber, unironically. J-Slat was making video essays, and Sednivison was like also making video essays, but like different than the ones J-Slat was making. J-Slat was like a Right Opinion or Jay Aubrey, while Sednivison was like Eddie Burback, Gus Johnson, Danny Gonzalez, Cody Ko. So Carson's content was not only just great for like the broader YouTube community because it combined all these weird people, but that's also why people watched him in the first place. It wasn't just because Carson's friends were funnier, it was because Carson would get the wildest people and have them in his videos. Carson wasn't dependent on just one or two people for all of his jokes. He was just dependent on the entire like setup. And now, because Carson has tanked his reputation, none of these people want to collab with him again. They were either personally affected by his actions, or they heard stories about how their friends were personally affected by their actions, or they just don't want to associate him. Like the one guy who tried to collab with him, Mizkiff, he got told within like 24 hours by J-Slat to not collab with Carson because he was such a poor person to work with. And Mizkiff was like, dang, if J-Slat's saying this. It's also a little ironic in hindsight that when Mizkiff thinks this person is hard to work with, you should probably listen to him. That's why Carson's content isn't doing as well as it was before. All of his connections to big names that he could put together for the weirdest combinations and create funny moments you couldn't see anywhere else on YouTube are gone. And now he just has like a few IRL friends who didn't abandon him, unlike some of his other IRL friends. I like clicked on like 10 or something of his videos, and it's just all the same people who don't even really have like online presences of their own. I can't really speak to how funny they are or whatever, because I haven't watched the full CallMeCarson videos since I made my original one on them. With no disrespect to Carson's current collaborators, it does just kind of seem like the diet version of his old videos, where instead of J-Slat you have Gavin. Who's Gavin? I don't know. Instead of Antvenom you have Asai. A few other things I wanted to point out in this video is that in 2 years, like almost 3 when you think about it, because he was accused in January of 2021 and then he didn't come back until September, so it's been almost 3 years where the accusations are public knowledge. but none of Carson's friends, and I mean none, have ever tried to defend him on anything or like publicly associate with him. They're just all gone. Everyone from people like JSlat and Josh are like his two biggest collaborators to just like random other people he made 1 or 2 videos with, like Pokimane or Carlos Nico. You would think that with how many people he collabed with and how many people he was allegedly on good terms with, like he'd get some people to come back to him, even just for like a gag or whatever. But no, everyone has abandoned him. And when people say Carson was betrayed by his friends, I don't think they realize how many friends betrayed him for that to be true. Carson would have had to have been betrayed by literally every single big content creator or Twitch streamer to have been betrayed. I think when you have that many people against you, you probably deserve to fall off a bit and need to step back from the general community. As for the last question, can CallMeCarson ever make a huge comeback and be as big as he once was? Well, for one, I think CallMeCarson used to be unironically one of the biggest YouTubers on the website. He went not by sub count, but just by like influence on other creators and like the overall community with SMP Live and with how he helped make JSlat big. So I think it's kind of unlikely that he ever becomes the biggest guy on YouTube again. But I think he could get bigger on YouTube. And I thought of 2 ways he could do that. First is, and this is going to be like the better way, is if after years of like dodging the issue, CallMeCarson finally comes clean with everything. I don't just mean he admits to fixing all the 17-year-olds or whatever. Especially if some of those accusations aren't actually true. There's only 2 of them actually came forward. Other 3 are just alleged by JSlat, Noah Hugbox, and Keemstar. Actually no, I think it's just JSlat and Keemstar who claim the existence of the other 3. And none of them ever came forward publicly. Again, watch my video on the original situation for more context about what happened there. This is a terrible crane round. But as I was saying, I think Carson could just kind of admit to being bad behind the scenes, but then just kind of tell stories about his 1.5 years of being the biggest person on YouTube, and like serious little jokes, unscripted like commentary videos, just going over his life, how he made it big, what happened. He could tell interesting stories from his career on YouTube that'd probably make him sound a bit pathetic or antisocial or whatever, but now, in like hindsight, a few years later, you can all laugh at them. It's kind of what Leafius here did in his return to YouTube back in like 2020, where most of his videos were not actually just his typical commentaries on disabled people or whatever. They were just YouTube stories from his career, giving more details about behind the scenes stuff. I think that would be interesting, even though, as I'm sure you could probably guess by this video, I'm not the biggest fan of Carson anymore. I'd still find them interesting. Now the second way, and this is the thing I think is more likely to happen, for better or for worse, is that I talked before that the reason why CallMeCarson's content worked is because of how many people he got in his videos and like the wacky connections he made with everyone. But a smaller reason is that a lot of it was like nostalgia for old Minecraft. Like that's kind of why they chose to do SMP Live and not like a Mr. Beast style video with everybody. Minecraft was nostalgic at that point. People wanted to know where creators like Antvenom and Sky's Minecraft went. So CallMeCarson messaged Antvenom and Sky and got them on SMP Live and then collabs with them. I think something like that could happen in maybe like a few more years, where say there's this new YouTuber who's starting to come up. Who should I use as an example? I'll use someone like on the Lifesteal SMP. Although I don't think it would be the Lifesteal SMP who did this. That were very inspired by CallMeCarson and SMP Live. And now they want to record with them again. They either just kind of don't really care about what happened behind the scenes, or they just decide to ignore it. They could ask Carson to collab and it'd kind of be like a Carson 5 years later, he's back everybody type of deal. Where he's recording with this new hotshot up-and-coming YouTuber or Twitch streamer like he did with Antvenom. CallMeCarson brought Antvenom back to the attention of people like myself who never even really watched his initial content. So who's to say, bro, where are our craners going? Don't tell me I actually have to crane for once. I haven't really been paying attention to the actual crane round, I just keep stomping goons. But these people must suck at craning if it's taking this long. But yeah, to conclude this video, CallMeCarson is probably, will forever be one of the most interesting people on all of YouTube for me, as he was someone who worked for years and years to make it big. He kind of put everything into YouTube because he didn't have anything else going on in his life that he had hope or interest in. He was like, I'm either gonna make it big on YouTube or live a really sad life. And once he made it big, he influenced everybody on YouTube. Brought so many of his friends and other creators up along with him. Like maybe some of them would have still been gotten big one way or another, but he was responsible. He was the main catalyst for all their success going the way it did. But tragically, due to some stuff that was out of his control, but mostly just his own poor actions and poor decision making, he brought upon his own downfall. He entered into relationships with people he probably shouldn't have been entering into relationships with. He lied about other creators publicly. He treated a bunch of people behind the scenes really poorly. He was obsessed with numbers. That was another big thing that led to his downfall, like mentally. Carson was the sole reason he became popular, thanks to his groundbreaking videos and ideas to put the weirdest people in a room together and see what would happen. And he was also the reason why he fell off so hard. And now, despite there being a lot of misconceptions about him, nobody will really ever come to his defense, just because, well, even if the lies people spread about him aren't true, a lot of other stuff are that make people feel to sympathize with him. What is going on? Okay, you know what? Let's crane. Alright, never mind. This mouse thinks she has it. Alright, nobody's on this one. And he immediately turns to face me. That's great. Oh, I know why. What do you mean you don't have safes? Yes, you do. Is that a troll? What just happened? Oh, thank God. I don't know what happened there. Alright, I'm ending the video here. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next Wednesday with another commentary video. Either Toontown or Minecraft, you'll see. See ya.